eyes. But our lead story tonight is the mystery surrounding Caroline Kennedy dropping out of Senate contention. The factor has learned that New York Governor David Paterson was told by unidentified sources that Caroline Kennedy was having an affair with New York Times publisher Arthur Sulzberger. Upon hearing that information, Governor Paterson got a bit nervous, as you would imagine, because both Ms. Kennedy and Mr. Sulzberger are married, although Sulzberger is apparently separated from his wife. And around midnight last night, Caroline Kennedy pulled out of the race for, quote, personal reasons. Now, spokesperson for the New York Times says Sulzberger does not, I repeat, does not have a relationship with Ms. Kennedy. But this is one huge mess. Joining us now from Albany, New York, is New York Post reporter Fred Dicker, who has been way out ahead on this story. I'm going to be real careful here, Mr. Dicker. Unlike the New York Times, which at times prints gossip, innuendo, and terrible stuff to hurt people with whom they disagree. They did it to me on a number of occasions. I don't want to do that. But we do have it on very reliable information that this is why Caroline Kennedy pulled out. What do you have?
Well, I'll tell you, just backing up what you're talking about was a remarkable statement that I and other members of the press were given today by a source very close to the governor, who claimed that questions about Caroline Kennedy's marital status were among the reasons that she did get out. The personal reasons that she cited also mentioned were supposed tax problems and a nanny problem. We don't know if it's true, but it was interesting that someone close to the governor, who was considered authoritative, would bring it up.
There's no doubt in my mind, because we did also report the story, I can't verify any relationship Ms. Kennedy has had. I cannot verify that. I want the audience to be very crystal clear on that. Can't verify anything along those lines. What we can say with certainty is that Governor Paterson received a boatload of information from a political source, a source very high, that the governor takes seriously, that Ms. Kennedy had a number of personal problems, not just one. So you seem to be confirming that, Fred.
Well, I'm confirming that someone close to the governor makes that claim. We haven't seen any evidence of that. We certainly reported that this source close to the governor said it, and we noted that there's a website that's talked about Caroline Kennedy having a special friend in Sulzberger, the publisher.
Yeah,
of
websites
the
aren't enough.
But
you know what the website game is. They're smear
Mm-hmm.
factories. They throw stuff out there. They don't verify. They don't care. All right, now.
So I just want to mention that only in the context of the fact that there's been an undercurrent of rumors about this for several weeks.
All right, but we don't report rumor. We just simply don't do that. But here's my question to you. She's out. All right? She's out of the race. She pulls out at midnight. At midnight. She doesn't explain it, but she herself says it's for personal reasons, unexplained. I think that was an incredibly foolish thing for Ms. Kennedy to do, because she should have explained exactly why she pulled out and then not let the websites and everybody else speculate and then drag her by the speculation through the mud. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't agree with you. I think you may be. I mean, she's a private citizen. She's not holding public office. She made a decision for whatever reason to withdraw from consideration. Why should she have to spill what's in her private life if she chooses not to run for office?
So you would,
what she's doing now.
If I were advising her, I would have said, look, it's not a perfect world. You're Caroline Kennedy. You made a big run at this. You're pulling out at midnight for undisclosed personal reasons, and you don't think people are going to go nuts? I would have said, listen, Ms. Kennedy, you got to get up there and say something, define it some way, unless there's some bad stuff. And if there is, Fred, it's coming out. You know what I mean? It's coming out.
Well, yeah, I do. But people here are wondering, what is someone close to the governor of the state of New York releasing this information on Caroline Kennedy for? She's no longer a candidate. She's an iconic figure
to cover
within the
Patterson's
Democratic
butt.
Party.
To cover Patterson's butt. Patterson doesn't want to be the fall guy here.
Well, what did he do wrong? She pulled out.
Yeah, but he was put in a position where he had to consider her in a very high-profile way, and he did. Was respectful, met with her.
He could have said thank you for being considered.
It's not enough.
He could have just said thank you very much.
Fred,
You're no longer on the list. He could have done this weeks ago.
He met with her yesterday. Yesterday.
Yeah, but he met with her weeks ago, too.
But he's the governor of the state.
I don't think they met yesterday. I think they talked. Yeah.
All right.
Look,
whether they talked or they met, I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is that it reached a level. It's reached the level of critical mass. When you engage the nation and you're Caroline Kennedy, John Kennedy's daughter, and you want a Senate seat, and the governor is considering it, and then at midnight you say, I changed my mind. Come on, Fred.
Let me tell you how the Democrats here are viewing it. It's not necessarily my view. They're saying the governor got this woman, Caroline Kennedy, a shy person, drew her out, kept her out there for 2 months, made her go around the state, expose herself. She wasn't that comfortable, but she said she was going for it. And then finally, in the end, she pulls out, and then he throws her overboard to look like
they're blaming the governor
on the Kennedys. Well, someone close to him is leaking this material.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I mean, I think the governor's trying to cover his butt. I agree. But I don't think this is
should he do that at her expense?
All right. It's a mess.
But he's the governor, and should he do it at her expense?
All right. It's a mess, though. You would agree with me on that. It's a mess.
It is. Unbelievable mess.
And it's going to get bigger. You wait and see. Fred, always a pleasure. Thanks very much. Good work on the story.